Yeah, welcome back. So we have developed the Northwind Service orders project. So we have seen the local annotations as well using the Business Application Studio. We have included a few of the columns onto our list report table as well. So now let us try to deploy this to BTP and see how it's going to work for us. So to do that, let me run the commands that we know. Deploy before building it, I would like to deploy perform the deploy configurations in FYG deploy config. Okay, npm run deploy config. Adding deployment configuration. So in this case, I'm choosing my Cloud Foundry. Yes, I would like to deploy onto the space. And let us see now it has added the deployment configurations. So if you see here, it has the UI5 deploy deploy file here. So using this one, it is going to deploy an application back onto the Cloud Foundry environment. So now, once we configure the deployment, then we need to build this application. Npm run build MTA. So we are going to build it as a multi-target application. So whereas this will be deployed as a HTML5 application back onto our Cloud Foundry environment. So as we know that it creates MTA archives, and this is what is going to be our application name, which will be deployed onto our Cloud Foundry environment. Let me deploy that one. So it creates all the necessary services like destination services. What are all the destinations it is the app is being used, and etc. It collects all the information from this UI5.yaml and UI5 deploy.yaml files. So if you see here in the UI5.yaml file, what is the destination it is connecting and what is its URL and etc. All this information has been stored in this UI5.yaml file. So while it is running this deployment, it collects all this information and creates respective services back onto the BTP environment, the Cloud Foundry environment. So if I go back and refresh my Cloud Foundry, we will see the application has been deployed onto the Cloud Foundry environment. So if you see here, the application that we have deployed using Business Application Studio has been listed down here. So Northwind project and the application we deployed already is SO maintained. Both of them are being displayed here. So usually when we click on this application, it should use all the destinations that we configured in our application, and it has to display the output like we see on our Business Application Studio here itself, but for some reason I'm not able to see the output there. Yeah, come on, if you see, not sure why this is happening. Even if you see, there is no preview application available today, so it has again back to the day one, I think. So I don't see the preview application. Let me reload my Business Application Studio and see if I'm able to get that one. And apart from that, so it should work as like we should be able to see the data there. We're not able to see the data right now, but we'll proceed with Workzone integration. We see how we integrate things with Workzone service. So the same application will be displayed in our Workzone service for our integration. So let me try one more time here. Nope, I can't see the preview application here. And what about the rest of the applications? Even I don't see the preview option for other applications as well. So in fact, last time I didn't do anything. It enabled me automatically the preview option. That's fine. So anyway, as we are using trial version, we expect those things. So as we have created our Workzone instance already in our Cloud Foundry environment. So build Workzone. If we get into this Workzone here, we will see the site creation option, etc. All these we can create a number of sites that we like. So I'm going ahead and creating one site, and I'll name it as Tara Launchpad. Okay, create. So now I have my site created, and it pops up with all this settings page for me to configure all the possible settings. So in the settings itself, we have a lot of information. If you go into the edit option here, so the description, again, this is the name, and what is the description that we wanted to display on our site open. So I'll say same or Tara Workzone. And personalization, whether the personalization is allowed on this site. Theme selection. So these all keeping the end user in mind. All these options are shown. So if we switch off this personalization, then user won't be able to do personalization on user side. And a theme selection, so user will have option to choose the theme as per user choice. But if we switch off these settings, user won't be able to make any of these changes. And here, if you see the major difference, so right now the Launchpad experience that we are having is groups, but the latest approach what the SAP has released is pages and spaces. So we'll have pages and spaces available on the Launchpad itself. And the same pages and spaces, as a latest news, we have already seen the Fiori apps library. In the apps library, we will be seeing the business group, and business catalog. But instead, and also we are having the pages and spaces also available in the apps library if you go and look into the apps library. And tile size responsive, and this is more explanatory, self-explanatory, and whether we allow the search bar on this page or not. That is what this setting here. Show notifications, whether we want to show the notifications to the user, the notification icon and etc. So if we say yes, okay. So all my apps, and if you confuse something about this, there is a little description available on this. We can go ahead and read it. And app finder, edit homepage, user actions menu. So shell header. So basically, whenever we open the Launchpad, so this is how we see our Launchpad. We can correlate a few things that we see there. So not all the functionalities of this Launchpad are integrated onto the BTP Workzone, but most of them are available in this Workzone pages. Okay, Workzone sites. So shell, whatever, however, how we see on our on-premise Launchpad, all the capabilities, all the functionalities are available on this Workzone as well. So if I go here, yes, log out all sessions on timeout, yes. And what is the session duration in minutes? 20 minutes. After 20 minutes of idle time, it's gonna timeout. Alert before timeout, how many minutes advance user has to be notified about the timeout? 3 minutes advance. So again, if we want to configure any of the parameters, Launchpad parameters, we have an option to configure. And if you see here a specific section about the key user, whether we allow the pages adaptation for key users. So yes, so if you are the key user, then there will be an option to adopt the screens and etc. So yes, so this is what about the settings of this one. And in the right side, if you see here, we have display assigned items. Right now, we don't have anything, any specific things assigned on this particular site. Let us go back and see what other options we have on this Workzone. So in the left side, if you see, this is the site directory which we are in at the moment. It will hold all the sites that we create. And in the next one, it is going to be the content manager. And this is where we create all the content in terms of in the drop down. If you see apps and plugins, so if you have any Fiori UEFI HTML5 applications, then they all also be listed down here. And catalogs, yes, if you create any catalog, that catalog will be appearing here. And groups, yes, groups also will be listed down, and roles, yes. So by default, there will be everyone role here. Okay, so in the everyone role, whatever the content we add, that's automatically going to be in the everyone role, everyone that is going to be assigned to everyone by default. So as this is the trial version, we will not be able to remove things from everyone role. So but in productive version, yes, we can remove content from everyone role, and we can specify the roles. And in the right side, if you see, this is all the list report template. So wherever you go in the SAP world, so we will be having all these Fiori guidelines followed in terms of creating new and etc. So if you create, it will ask, what are you going to create? Whether it is an app or catalog or group or role, what are you going to create in this particular content? Okay, so if you choose an app, and this is where we integrate the content between the on-premise system and whatever the system it is going to be. So irrespective of the system, we can configure the tiles here. So this is what is, so the app, once we create an app, then obviously we are going to assign this app to one of the catalog and group, then after the role. The same concept what we followed in on-premise system, the same we are going to follow here as well. But how we are going to achieve this means, so if you see in the configuration section here, okay, and also left side, if you see, we can even control this, whether you want to open it in a new tab or whether you want to open it in the launch inside the launchpad itself. So in place, it means it opens within the launchpad, and as a new tab, if you choose as a new tab, it opens as a new tab. But always we prefer to see the content in place. The reason, because all the timeouts, everything are controlled with the launchpad. If you configure this as a new tab, there is a chance that you may lose what the timeout principles applied to the new tab, if that is a external tile configuration. So here the systems, whatever you see here, if you see, these are all the destinations that we created in our trial account. Okay, so all those destinations will be displayed here. So if I want to configure the BSP application or UI5 application that is deployed on my on-premise system, then the way steps are going to be: first, establish or create the destination in your BTP trial account. Then you come to the Workzone service and create a tile using that destination. In this, if you choose this ES5 system, then in the URL you see dynamic URL, SAPUI5, GUI for HTML, WebDrain Prop App, Web Client UI. So here we are familiar with WebDrain Pro. GUI for HTML is nothing but a transaction configuration, and SAPUI5 is nothing but a BSP application configuration. And dynamic URL is a straightforward URL which we will be launching when user clicks on that particular tile, and the relative path, if it is a google.com and etc., so we will be giving that google.com, or as we have chosen the ES5 system, and here we will be giving /SAP/BSP /UI5_UI5/BSP name, like that. And if we have any parameters, we do pass those parameters. So unfortunately, we do not have any productive system that we have connected to this BTP. That is the reason we are just having it as a go through without a practical. So we don't know, as you see, even we are not able to run the application itself using these destinations. It is authorizations or something is stopping us from using those services available within these systems. And otherwise, we could have created a real tile, and we could have demonstrated in a better way from here. And in the navigations, if you see what is the semantic object and action of this particular application. So as we know that whenever we think about user provisioning to an application, in this world, we must need semantic object and an action. Okay. And if we have any parameters mapping, so we will be doing this parameters mapping here. So we are familiar with this all information. Let me open this LPD cast, which is a Launchpad on-premise Launchpad designer. So whereas we have those options available within the system itself. So they all are possible using this Workzone application as well. And visualization is nothing but a tile configuration. So how our tile should look like. So if you see here preview, and as we have the dynamic tile and new style as well. So we don't have new style here, dynamic tile and the static app. Okay, so those two options are available for us. Okay, so now if you see the static, and if you like to give some is this one? Okay, so it will automatically enable once we configure this information, but let me put this one. So if you go into the visualization, if you see the preview has automatically populated with the title that we have given there. And if we want to use a subtitle, so it automatically displays here, and the information is going to be transactional. It's going to be displayed here. Okay, and even we have an option to choose on which device it should display, etc. So we have this device selection as well. And if you want to choose any of the icons, so even we have an option to choose one of the available icons from SAP icon library. So our tile configuration sits in the visualization. And in the translation, so whatever the text, so the source text in this case is going to be trip planner, and this is what the subtitle, these are the original language texts. And if we want to maintain any other languages, you can choose the language, and we can maintain those descriptions here itself. Whenever user logs into the site using any different languages, it will automatically picks up those login descriptions, language text, and it displays to the user. Okay, so now we have learned how we configure the system, the tiles using the app available on the Workzone site. Okay, so if you see, this is our again ABAP trial development space. If we have any applications deployed onto our development ABAP development space, then we can pick up those applications and we can configure here. So let me save this one. I think a semantic object. So that's fine. Sample manage. So I have configured one app for now. We know that there is no real destination application configuration for this, but we have configured one app. But if you see, if you go ahead and create a catalog, and it's going to be description is going to be catalog. So let me save this one. And once we create this catalog, and in the right side you see the assigned items will show here. If there is anything, any app available to assign to this catalog, it will show the count available and selected versus, so selected versus available. So right now I think this treating that this application is not fully configured. That's the reason it's not displaying over there. And also if you want to create any of the specific role, you are free to create the role, and it's going to be this ID, description, users. Let me save this one, and here again apps available, all available apps will be displayed here. We can assign the apps directly to this role if at all required. And now okay, that's fine. Now we may be interested to see all the list of applications that are available in any on-premise or any third-party system. So in that case, how we look at it? And here you see this is my content, and there is another tab, Content Explorer. So if you go into the Content Explorer, if you choose the channels here, right now we have HTML5 apps. So from where these HTML5s are pulling out, and they are this HTML5 apps are from this trial account, which is my Cloud Foundry trial account. So if I click on this one, it will show me my all the available applications that I have deployed onto my business technology platform. So if you see, these are the two applications I have deployed onto my BTP. So if I want to use these applications onto my Workzone, so that is obviously a required thing. So in this case, we can select these two tiles and add to my content. So if you go ahead and press on add to my content here, so these two tiles, two apps, not tiles. So these two apps have been added to my content here. So now if I choose these two tiles, or sorry, everyone role, if you see, it feels that this is the only app that has the complete navigations, it seems. So the everyone role has been automatically added onto this Northwind orders. And also if you click on this search bar, it will show all the available applications as well. So let me add this to everyone role. So trip planner, all three tiles have been added onto the everyone role. That's fine. And if I go back here, I wanted to show something. Okay. So these Northwind orders, like for this trip planner, we have chosen all these destination configuration, etc. All these information, right? So, but in this case, Northwind orders and sales order manage. Let's go ahead and see this, all the information, configuration, everything. We have not taken any care about this. So the framework, how it has been designed to pick up the destination services and etc. So it picks up automatically and configures for us. And if you look at this navigation, if there is no semantic object and action at the moment, but these are whenever we generate the application, if we have specified any semantic object and action, they are automatically going to take or they are going to automatically reflect onto the semantic object and actions here. And visualization, so the visualization type, it's going to be none here. But usually we definitely need not to show a tile without visualization, as this is a tile that we have referenced from HTML5 apps library. So we do not have any permissions to edit on this particular app, but we have an option to make a local copy. If you see here, there is a create local copy option here. So if you make a local copy of this one, there is a local copy available at the moment on this one, and you have an option to choose edit. So now even this system destination and these details we won't be able to edit, but instead we can make changes to this tile as we wanted. Okay, so now if we go to the navigation, and there is no semantic object, let me say ARDAS visualization is none. Oh, come on, there should be visualization. Okay, not sure why. Okay, so for some reason it's not allowing the visualization, the tile description and etc. That's fine for us, as it is generated one. We don't want to make complex ourselves. But if you see here, we can understand a few things from here. The destination system, what it is picking is the cloud system, and the technology SAPUI5 technology, and what is the component name. This is the component name. We can get all this information. If we want to configure this manually, we can configure this on our own. In the parameters, it has two parameters. SAS app router, it is taking the automatic router, and also sub account ID, it has picked up the sub account ID. So if we want to do that, we can do that. So this sub account ID, we can get it from the our trial account home here. So subdomain tenant ID is going to be the sub account ID is going to be available here. If you want, you can straight away go ahead and pick up this information and give it, configure it over there. Okay, so that's fine. Let me save this one as well. And let me go to the everyone role, and so even here we have all the apps available. And if you want to, because we won't be able to use this role anyway, but I'm assigning this apps, all the apps to this Tara role as well. So to know how we assign the apps to a role. And okay, there is the group. So let me create a group as well. Okay, and these are the two apps it is showing on the group here. Let me, nope. So usually, yes. So usually in on-premise, how we do, we will be referencing the apps from catalog, but here it is straight away showing the apps. That's fine, we don't need to worry much about it. But yeah, And here we have assigned the apps. Okay. So now the Content Explorer, how we are getting this HTML5 apps in the drop down. So this is the system. In a way, we are getting these HTML5 applications from the BTP environment. And we have seen the web site directory where we create the site and the content management. So here we have my content and Content Explorer. In the my content, we see all the information, all the apps, catalogs, groups, rules, and etc. And in the Content Explorer, we see the this is actually a channel, content channel. HTML5 apps is the channel that we have for BTP deployed applications. And the next one, if you see here, this is the channel manager. So whatever the content channel we see here, this channel manager, here we will be connecting or creating the channels. So right now this BTP HTML5 apps repository has been added automatically, so we do not need to worry about it. But if we want to configure a new channel, so if you see here, what is the design time destination? Whenever you are designing it, what is the destination of this one? And the runtime, what is the runtime destination? So the difference between these two are, so design time, whenever we have, in our case, 95% cases, design time and runtime both will be same. But whenever we have some destination configurations available in other system and the real app has been deployed onto different system, in this case, even I'm not getting the right example for this one. So if we have that that kind of situation, when during the design time, whenever we use the tile configuration, that time we want to deal with one system, and whenever the runtime, whenever the tile has been clicked, and then which system the request has to be bypassed or redirected to. So in those cases, we will be using design time separate and runtime separate. In all the cases, both the cases, the destination on BTP has to be configured. So how we communicate between systems using the BTP is, it's simply that using a destination configuration. The destination configuration, whatever the authentication mechanism is being used, whether it is a OAuth2 or whatever the single propagation, that means a single sign-on or whatever. So using that, we will be able to communicate with the multiple systems. So for example, if we want to establish a design time or runtime configurations. So let me see in this case whether it pulls all the information from ES5 system or not. Let's see. I think we won't be having authorization. So runtime destination is default runtime. Yeah. Manual addition. Let me see. Automatical addition of all content items. Yeah. Include groups and catalogs assigned to the roles. That's fine. Let me choose all of them. Okay, so if you see, it has been ended with an error. So maybe we will have destination created successfully, but invalid content. Could not save content due to invalid format. Please contact your. Okay. So there is some error happened in ES5 system. So it's not pulling the information from there. Okay, so so this is how we add our content channels here. So whatever the channel we configure, that means we have access to configure or add apps onto our site that we create here. And finally, we have a settings, the Workzone settings here, and whatever the error logs we have here, all those error logs and the notifications, how the authentication should happen, or the notifications should be configured on this particular one. And also the alias mappings, if we have any aliases for the systems and etc., if it is picking up some destination we have configured, and if we want to put up some system ID and client parameters or something like that, then we can straight away go ahead and configure all those information here. And also we have another one here. So identity provisioning. This identity provisioning, again, in productive versions, they'll be having a dedicated IDP servers. So those IDP servers also can be included here for site authentication purposes. So for now, don't consider about these settings. So they can be explored later stage sometime. But these three, how we configure the site and etc., is important for us. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm just going to the site. Let me go to the site here. So if you click on this, it opens the site for us. So whatever the site we have created, and if you see the two tiles, whatever we have created in the group, those two tiles have been displayed on our site. So if we click on this one, that's fine. Not sure what's going to happen. Okay, so this is again same. I thought with a little hope it's gonna work out for us, but again it has been ended with the same error, metadata failed. So there is some error, that's fine anyway. And this is another trip planner one, which we have created using the ABAP instance. Okay, but this is just a dummy tile that we have created without any UI5 application, real UI5 application URL. So and from here, whatever the things we see here, edit homepage and theme manager and manage site and etc., these three options can be controlled from this site settings here. So if you see here, the theme selection, we have said yes, user have an option to choose the theme selection, yes. So that is why we have a theme manager available on this site. So user will have an option to go ahead and choose the interested or required theme from here itself. And also the edit homepage. So if user wants to edit the homepage and etc., these are all kind of the personalization or adaptation things where user can do all of those. So this is what about the Workzone. So right now the customers are in their way to explore these Workzone capabilities, as on-premise system has the limitation of configuring the tiles only specific to the applications deployed onto the on-premise systems. But if customers started using this Workzone service, it is really unlimited kind of unrestricted kind of stuff where they can integrate all the applications they wanted onto this Workzone site. And also they can have n number of sites, so they can create whatever the number of sites they wanted, and they can share these site URLs according to the group of users they wanted to. Okay, and the roles wise, so they will be controlled using the roles. And if they want to manage the aliases for this, so for example, right now it is saying something like 131EE something like that, right? So if we have a site alias here, Tara Dev, something like this. So if you go into this settings, we will see the system alias, site alias here, Tara Dev. And if you launch this website, sorry, the Workzone site, where is it gone? If you see the site, the alias name has been used at the end, Tara Dev. But in this case, the site ID has been given with a unique GUID. But instead of having this GUID, it will be with Tara Dev. Okay, like that we can manage this. So options might be a light or little, but they are serving the business purpose. Okay, so that's absolutely fine and perfect. So any questions on this Workzone service? So unfortunately, the only regret I'm having is we do not have a proper working tile registered on this one. That is the only regret I have. Otherwise, everything fine. So now, okay. Yep.
So for